Hare Krishna, we continue reading from Beyond Birth and Death by Srila Prabhupada, Chapter-03. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is hearing about God from the lips of Sri Krishna himself. In Bhagavad Gita is a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. In this way, Arjuna set the criterion for understanding the Supreme by submissive hearing. It is a position to hear the Bhagavad Gita from the lips of Arjuna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 4, Evam Parampara Praptam, that this knowledge is received in the disciplic succession. And then he says that in time the succession was broken. And now that's the reason Krishna is repeating the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. So this is the way that the spiritual knowledge has to be heard from Krishna to his representative, again to his representative. After hearing, it is our position to hear Bhagavad Gita from the lips of Arjuna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. After hearing, it is necessary to practice this acquired knowledge in daily life. So devotional service begins by hearing, Shravanam. And then what can we do? We will automatically, if we have heard properly, we will do Kirtanam, chanting. So we have to practice this knowledge. It's practical application. That's why it's scientific. It's not just some philosophy, just some idea that cannot be applied. No, why is it called scientific? Because this knowledge can be practically applied in our life. We are hearing the story of Dhruv Maharaj. He practically applied the devotional service. He engaged in devotional service, and all his desires are fulfilled. Material desire, spiritual desire, everything. So, my dear Lord, you are unconquerable, the devotee prays. But by this process, by hearing, you are conquered. Yeah, otherwise, how can we know Krishna? He's unlimited. But he makes himself known. He's speaking the Bhagavad Gita. He makes himself known. Through Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand Krishna like this. God is unconquerable, but he's conquered by the devotee who abandons mental speculation and listens to authoritative sources. Hearing, that's why Prabhupada is putting the word submissive hearing. Krishna also tells Arjuna, Tat Shrinu, now hear from me. Tat Shrinu, hear. This is how we can receive spiritual knowledge. We cannot understand the absolute truth by our own mental speculation. We simply receive the knowledge. According to the Brahma Samhita, there are two ways of acquiring knowledge, the ascending process and the descending process. By the ascending process, one is elevated by knowledge acquired by himself. Okay, Lord Brahmaji, in Brahma Samhita, he's saying there's two ways to understand things. Why we want to get knowledge? We want to understand something. Now, there's two ways. One is by our mind. We try to find out what is the truth. That's the ascending. In this way, one thinks, I don't care for any authorities or books. I will attain knowledge myself by meditation, philosophy, etc. So in this way, in this ascending process, I will understand God. So a person is saying, I'm not going to read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, but I'm going to try to understand God by my own mind, or I'm going to listen to some different philosophy. And in this way, I will be able to understand God. Or I'll do meditation. Now, the other process, the descending process, involves receiving knowledge from higher authorities. So both of them want to understand God. One is saying, I'm going to try to understand God without hearing. I'm not going to hear from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, but I'm going to do meditation, or I'm going to follow some philosophy or something. And another one is that I'm going to receive this knowledge from the authority. That is called the descending process. That I'm going to hear from the authorities who know about God. The Brahma Samhita states that if one takes to the ascending process and travels at the speed of mind and wind for millions of years, he will still end up not knowing. For him, the subject matter will remain elusive and inconceivable. So what is Brahma Samhita saying? That by our mind, mind can travel very fast. Now, wind also travels very fast. For millions of years, we are trying by our mind, without hearing Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. If just by our mind we are trying for millions and millions of years, we can try. We will still not be able to understand God because the mind is material after all. How can we conquer? How can the material mind conquer the unlimited?
So is this the jnanis and yogis too, this ascending process?
Yes, that's right.
10%. Okay.
That's right. That's right. So, but that subject matter is given in Bhagavad Gita, Ananya Chetaha. Krishna says to meditate on him without deviation from the path of devotional service in submission. For one who worships him in this way, tasyaham sulabhaha, I become easily available. So, but in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling us, now if we follow the descending process, that this is the authority, they know the subject matter, they have practiced the subject matter, they have realized the absolute truth, let me follow. Let me hear Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, you just fix your mind on me. You engage in devotional service. And in this way, you will be able to conquer me. I am easily available for you. The choice is ours, whichever choice we want. We can also try to apply it in trying to know. For example, even if I want to become a doctor, I will say I'm not going to go to a medical school, but my own mind, or by hearing from someone here or there, or I'll try to pick up this philosophy or that philosophy, and I'll try to practice by myself. I'm not going to become a qualified doctor, I might reach some hit or miss, but nobody who really has a disease is going to come to me for cure. When we have a disease, we do research. Who's the most specialized? Who's the head of department? Who's studied from where? Like we really do so much research. So, but there's another one who's going to a medical school, taking the time, practicing, studying under a authorized doctor, practicing, and then he becomes an authorized doctor. So similarly, for God is also like that. And Krishna is saying, this is Brahma Samhita is saying. So if we are just going to not hear from the authority, not hear from Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, we won't be able to understand God. But if we hear, if we follow devotional service, we practice devotional service, for him, surely Krishna becomes easily available. Bhaktyaham abhijanati, Krishna himself is saying in 18th chapter. I can be known only by devotional service. This is the process. If one works for Krishna 24 hours a day, Krishna cannot forget him. By becoming submissive, he can attract the attention of God. As Guru Maharaj Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, don't try to see God. Is God to come and stand before us like a servant just because we want to see him? That is not the submissive way. We have to oblige him by our love and service. So Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that, don't try to see God. We are saying, I want to see God, I want to see God. He would say, work in such a way that God will want to see you. That who is this person? He's serving so much, he has so much love. I need to go see him. Prabhupada is saying, is God like a servant to us? That we are saying, God, you come here. So is God our servant? That he should come here whenever we want to see him? That's not the way. We have to oblige him by our love and service. We act in such a way that Krishna gets bound to come and see us. The proper process for approaching Krishna was given to humanity by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Rupa Goswami, his first disciple, appreciated it. Rupa Goswami was a minister in Mohammedan government, but he left the government to become a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he first went to see the Lord, Rupa Goswami approached him with the following verse. Srila Rupa Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, he was working as a minister in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah. And then he gave up that government service. He went to Vrindavan, became one of the Goswamis. When he came to see Lord Chaitanya, he offered this, he spoke this following prayer. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvashe Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who's more magnanimous than any other avatar, even Krishna himself, because he's bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love of Krishna. Rupa Goswami called Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the most munificent. What is most munificent? The most charitable personality. Why? Because he was offering what? The most precious thing of all. And he's giving it very cheaply without charging. What is he giving? What's the most precious thing? Love of God. We think this is precious, that is precious, but what is the most precious is love of God. And Lord Chaitanya is giving it, just giving it. We all want Krishna and are all hankering after him. Krishna is the most attractive, the most beautiful, the most opulent, the most powerful, and the most learned. That is the object of our hankering. We are hankering after the beautiful, the powerful, the learned, the wealthy. Krishna is the reservoir of all this. So we need only turn our attention toward him and we will get everything. Someone who is very beautiful, we are attracted to them. We want to know them. Hey, what's your beauty secret? Somebody is very opulent, then we are attracted to them. Let me see, oh, how did he uh, make his wealth? Someone's powerful, we really want to know, oh, what did they do? How come? We want to know their life history. And someone who has a lot of knowledge, we want to know, we want to hear from them, we want to learn the knowledge from them. So the most beautiful, the most attractive, most opulent, most powerful, most learned is Krishna. We are hankering after him. Krishna is the reservoir of all of this. And if we can just turn our attention to Krishna, we will get everything. Everything, whatever we want, whatever is our heart's desire, will be fulfilled by this process of Krishna consciousness. Dhruv Maharaj wanted a great kingdom, greater than his great-grandfather, and he got it. He just turned to Krishna and he got it. So whatever we desire, Srimad Bhagavatam says, whatever is our desire, we may have material desire, we may have no material desire, or we may desire liberation. Just engage in devotional service. Just come to Krishna, worship Krishna. For one who dies in Krishna consciousness, as stated before, entrance into Krishna Lok, the supreme abode, where Krishna resides, is guaranteed. At this point, one may ask, what the advantage is in going to that planet? So the point Prabhupada is making here is, so one who dies, who leaves his body in Krishna consciousness, he's going to go to Krishna Loka. But one may inquire, why should I go to Krishna Lok? What will I get if I go there? So Krishna is answering himself. Mam upetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashasvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Bhagavad Gita 8:15. So in chapter 8, text 15, Krishna is saying, after attaining me, the great souls. So who are the Mahatma? The one who are yogis in devotion, the Bhakti yogi, the great souls. This is Krishna's words, that they are the bhaktas. And what happens? They never come back to this temporary world which is full of miseries. Dukhalayam ashasvatam. Dukhalayam, miseries, ashasvatam, temporary. Krishna says, why? Samsiddhim paramam gataha. They have attained the highest perfection. This material world is is certified by Sri Krishna, the Creator, as Dukhalaya, full of miseries. How then can we make it comfortable? See, we heard earlier that we want enjoyment. We want to enjoy. That we are searching like crazy for enjoyment. Why? Because that's our nature. Sat Chit Ananda. We are Ananda Mayobhyasa. Ananda Mayobhyasa. The soul is Ananda Mayobhyasa. We are searching for enjoyment. But in this material world, the nature of this material world is Dukhalaya. Then how can we make it comfortable? Is it possible to make this world comfortable by the so-called advancement of science? No, this is not possible. But we may say, yeah, but we have gotten such better standard of living now. We don't have to live in the forest. We have living in our own apartments. We are not subjected. For example, it's so cold, but we can, we have gadgets. We can switch on heaters or heated blankets or whatever. So we are making it more and more comfortable, but we are not able to realize. So then, why is Prabhupada saying, no, this is not possible? As a result, we do not even wish to know what these miseries are because we are not able to understand what is the real misery. The miseries, as stated before, are birth, old age, disease, and death. And because we cannot make a solution to them, we try to set them aside. So yeah, sure, we are solving a lot of other problems. We are able to, you know, we are making this world as comfortable as we can, but we are not able to find solution to birth, old age, disease, and death. We are not able to stop old age. We don't want to get old, but oh my God, I'm getting old. How do you stop it? Can't stop it. Disease, we don't want to get disease. Can't stop it, it comes. Science has no power to solve these miseries that are always giving us trouble. Instead, they divert our attention to the making of spaceships or atomic bombs. The solution to these problems is given here in the Bhagavad Gita. If one attains to Krishna's platform, he does not have to return again to this earth of birth and death. So Krishna is saying, you come back to me, and you never have to come back to this material world again, which is temporary and full of miseries. You never have to take birth or disease or die or become old. We should try to understand that this place is full of miseries. It takes a certain amount of developed consciousness to understand this. Now, not trying to be like a pessimist. We should not become pessimists or depressed, but just trying to understand the fact as it is. That is what Prabhupada is trying to tell us. Not that we say, oh, the whole world is dark, I'm doomed. No, not in that way. But just applying intelligence to what we are doing. So cats and dogs and hogs cannot understand that they are suffering. Man is called a rational animal, but his rationality is being used to further his animalistic propensities instead of to find out how to get liberation from this material condition. So the animals, of course, the animals don't know they're suffering. There's a lot of suffering when we are in the lower species of animals. But then now we may say, oh, but yeah, but look at the cats and dogs, and all over the world they are given even more luxuries than children sometimes. And so then we think that they're not suffering. But no, they're, like, for example, if you're a pet, now we know that there's so much genetic modification also going on for pets. Some of them can't bark, some of their noses are altered in such a way they look to make them look cute, but they can't breathe very well. Some of their legs are made to be so short they look cute, but they can't even walk very well. And the poor beings, they can't speak. So anyway, so man is rational, but we are not using our rationality. We are not. We are not using our intelligence. How can I get liberation? Here, Krishna explicitly states that one who comes to him will never be reborn to suffer miseries again. Those great souls who come to him have attained the highest perfection of life, which alleviates the living entity from the suffering of conditioned existence. So the Mahatma, who's the Mahatma, is one who has come to him, one who has come to Krishna, elevates the living entity from the suffering of conditioned existence. We have seen time and time again the Pandavas. Each time they were in a problem, they would come to Krishna. Krishna would protect them. Dhruv Maharaj, even his mother Suniti, she was being neglected. Then she turned to Krishna, and now she was getting the highest honor. So, turning to Krishna. One of the difference between Krishna and an ordinary being is that an ordinary entity can be in only one place at a time, but Krishna can be everywhere in the universe and yet also in his own abode simultaneously. So we may think that I'm Krishna, I am Brahman. Yes, we are Brahman, but we are not able to realize we are not Para Brahman. Krishna is Para Brahman. We are Brahman, we are soul. But Krishna is Para Brahman. We can be at only one place. Right now we are here. We are not in America or we are not in India. We are right now here. We are not in the spiritual world. We are right now here wherever we are. But Krishna, he's everywhere. He's everywhere. And also he's in Krishna Lok. But we can't do that. We are trying to compete with Krishna. We are trying to pretend we are Krishna. But we are not. We are not able to understand our own reality, our own capacity, capability. Krishna's abode in the transcendental kingdom is called Golok Vrindavan. So in the spiritual world, Krishna's planet is called Goloka Vrindavan. The Vrindavan in India is that same Vrindavan descended on this earth. When Krishna descends himself by his own internal potency, his dham or abode also descends. So Krishna, uh, when he comes, Vrindavan comes with him. His devotees come with him. Srimati Radharani, Nanda, Baba, Yashoda, Mai. They all come with him. This is by his internal potency. So the Vrindavan here on earth, this is come from the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan. But now we may say, oh, but how the spiritual world? We are hearing Chintamani and Surabhi cows and Kalpa Vriksha. But here we are just seeing only dirt and nothing opulence. But we have to understand that do we have the spiritual eyes to see Vrindavan? We cannot see Vrindavan, Prabhupada would say, simply by purchasing a ticket. Do we have the love and the devotion to see Vrindavan? In other words, when Krishna descends on this earth, he manifests himself in that particular land. Despite this, Krishna's abode remains eternally in the transcendental sphere in the Vaikunthas. So Krishna has come. When he came here, Vrindavan came with him, but Vrindavan is still there in the spiritual world. Golok Vrindavan is still there. In this verse, Krishna proclaims that one who comes to his abode in the Vaikunthas never has to take birth again in the material world. Such a person is called a Mahatma. So one who reaches the Vaikuntha planet does not come back to this material world. He doesn't need to. He's already reached the spiritual world. He's in the spiritual atmosphere. He doesn't need to come to the material world. We have to understand the position of Krishna. We are thinking Krishna is just ordinary person. Yeah, he's just like me. Or maybe he has some knowledge. Let me try to do what Krishna does. Then I'm going to become like him. But we can never become Krishna. We can never, we can never become Krishna. We are who we are. We simply have to realize who we are, that we are spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. We cannot say, oh, right now I'm at one place, I understand, but later on, after I get some power, I'm going to become everywhere, all pervading. No, we can't. Because if we were able to do it, then why don't we do it now? How come we have to learn to do it? We can never do it. It's not our position. The word Mahatma is generally heard in the West in connection with Mahatma Gandhi. But we should understand that Mahatma is not the title of a politician. Rather, Mahatma refers to the first class Krishna conscious man who is eligible to enter into the abode of Krishna. The Mahatma's perfection is this: to utilize the human form of life and the resources of nature to extricate himself from the cycle of birth and death. So Krishna is saying, who is a Mahatma? Krishna is saying is one who is utilizing this human life to make an end, to make a solution to the cycle of birth and death. The devotee, Krishna is calling the devotee, the Mahatma, or Krishna is also calling the one who is following the path of knowledge. Bahunam, and he says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyante. One who is in knowledge. He's also, but he says, such a person will come to me after many, many births and deaths. And finally, one who is really in knowledge will surrender to Krishna. That's what Krishna says in chapter 7. So one who's trying to make a solution of birth and death, that person is called a Mahatma. Who's realized it. First class Krishna conscious man means the pure devotee. The pure devotee. Are there any questions or comments?
Just one, that how we mention the four miseries. So birth is one of the miseries, but when we born, every day we are celebrating it, like every year. We don't consider it as a misery.
Yeah, because we forget.
Yeah.
We forget
Mm.
we forget that we were in the womb for 9
So long.
months, packed up.
Yeah. And like how much we have suffered there, right?
Yeah, we forget our suffering.
Yeah.
That's the reason we are celebrating. Oh, that it's so good. It's my birthday.
And we
But
also
it's
forget
good
that we
also.
had promised, right?
Yeah.
When we were in the womb, that we had promised that, we will
Some souls,
always.
the devoted souls, the devotees, not all the souls.
Oh,
That's
is
what
it?
we
I thought
read
like
in.
so much that the the child inside the womb is suffering, that it keeps, it says, please help me, please take me out from this, right?
Yeah.
This.
Yes. And then we forget.
We forget. Yeah.
We forget. Like we have been to the hells also, but we have forgotten. We have been to the heavenly planets also, but we have forgotten. We forget. As soon as the body changes, we forget. We don't have that baby body which we were inside the mother's womb. We forgot. Now we have this body. So we keep forgetting as the body keeps changing. Even this body is changing, but we don't realize it. Like where is our newborn baby body gone now? Yeah, like
We forget what was yesterday. Like, just few months back, we forget. And then we claim that, like, how can we remember?
yeah, it's true. It's true.
So this book is actually about beyond birth and death, like what it is, right? They're trying to tell us that we are struggling in birth and death, but there is our dharma or something that is beyond this, right?
Yeah, it's trying to tell us that we are not the body, we are the soul, our true position, that we are not the body,
Mm,
right? We are the soul.
mm,
And then we are trying to enjoy, but we are thinking we are the body, so we are trying to enjoy with the body, but we are the soul. And
mm,
and our home is not in this material world. Our home is in the spiritual world.
mm.
Yeah. So the more we hear, we need to keep hearing because as we said, right, we forget. We hear, we forget. We
Mm.
hear. So that's why regularly we need to hear. We speak it also, we still forget. So we have to continuously, by hearing, we can remind ourselves. We can be reminded of the truth. We need to
Yeah.
regularly hear and chant. Mm. Then we'll be able to remember. Krishna says, the devotional services, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So how will we be able to remember Krishna? By regularly hearing and chanting. Mhm.
Yeah, because a few days back, like I attended 2 seminars of Chandrasekhar Prabhu at temple. That was the instructions, the
Sri
Vacho.
Upanishad, no?
No,
Sri
not the Sri.
Upanishad.
No, it is the Rupa
Or
Goswami, the
nectar of instruction.
instructions. Yeah, so he's doing the third verse only, and he has explained it so beautifully, like word by word. He's explaining. Maybe we have just done 2 or 3 paragraphs. Like I think we are on the second. We did the enthusiasm first, then the patience. Yeah, until the patience, and yeah, we have done till there. So he's explaining it so nicely, and then sometimes we just wonder that what are we doing with our lives? What are we doing? Like we have been given such a beautiful life to do nice things, but due to our forgetfulness or our like dirty conscious, we are still doing the same things that we are not supposed to do, that are harmful for our soul, for our progress towards Krishna consciousness. And it's no one's mistake, because we ourselves are hearing and hearing and hearing, but our conscious is so dirty that when time comes to apply it, we totally forget it. It's no one's fault, but we still need to keep on trying.
Yeah, that's all we can do, right?
Yeah, that's all we can do. because there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
sharing. Okay. Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.